This photograph was taken in October 1968. The man standing in the background had been dead for 11 years. His name was Elias Vale. His death certificate places him in a hospital nearly 200 kilometers away. His grave was photographed. His family held a funeral. And yet, there he is, standing behind a family he had never met. At first, investigators believed the photograph had been misdated. Then they found the original negative. And the date on that negative made the mystery even worse. The photograph was discovered almost 4 decades later. It had been stored inside a cardboard box belonging to the Mercer family. There was nothing unusual about the picture at first. For people stood outside the abandoned Northmere Hotel. A father, a mother, their teenage daughter, and a younger son. The photograph had apparently been taken during a weekend trip in October 1968. The hotel had closed several years earlier. The family had stopped there to photograph the old building before it was demolished. But when the photograph was enlarged, someone appeared behind them. A man, wearing a dark suit, standing completely still. The family did not recognize him. That would normally mean very little. Old photographs are full of strangers. But one member of the family recognized the face immediately. Margaret Mercer. She identified the man as Elias Vale, her uncle. There was only one problem. Elias had died 11 years earlier. In 1957, Margaret was certain. She had attended his funeral. She remembered the hospital. She remembered the black clothing. She remembered the photograph taken beside his grave. And most importantly, she remembered what he looked like. The man in the photograph had the same face, the same narrow jaw, the same dark hair, and the same distinctive scar above his left eyebrow. There was still an obvious explanation. The photograph could have been older than the family claimed. Perhaps it had been placed in the wrong album. Perhaps the date written on the back was incorrect. Perhaps the family had remembered the trip incorrectly. So investigators searched for anything that could establish the date. They found a receipt. October 14th, 1968. They found a newspaper from the same weekend. They found a letter written by Margaret's mother describing the trip. And eventually, they found the camera, Kodak Instamatic, stored in the same box. The film cartridge was gone. But the family had preserved something even more important. The original negative. The negative changed the investigation. It showed the same 4 family members. The same hotel. The same trees. The same position of the sun. And the same man standing in the background. There was no obvious sign of manipulation. No double exposure. No pasted image. No darkroom alteration. The mysterious figure was part of the original photographic exposure. That still didn't prove anything supernatural. There was another possibility. A stranger simply looked like Elias Vale. Investigators searched surviving photographs of Elias. They compared the ears, the nose, the jawline, the hairline, and the scar. The resemblance was remarkable. But resemblance is not identity. So they needed something stronger. They began looking into Elias Vale's final years. Elias had worked as a railway surveyor. He had traveled frequently. He had spent months away from his family. But according to surviving records, he had never visited Northmere. His last documented journey ended in 1956. His health deteriorated soon afterward. He entered St. Vincent's Hospital in March 1957. He died there 11 days later. The hospital register contained his name. The death certificate contained his signature. And the burial record contained the location of his grave. There was no missing year. No unexplained disappearance. No possibility that Elias had secretly survived. At least, not according to the records. Then researchers found another photograph. It was hidden inside an envelope behind an old family portrait. The photograph was smaller, poorer quality, and apparently unrelated. It showed the Northmere Hotel from the opposite side. The image had been taken on the same day. But this time, the Mercer family was not visible. Neither was the man. At least not immediately. Researchers enlarged the photograph. And near the hotel entrance, there he was again. Elias Vale. Or someone who looked exactly like him. Same suit. Same posture. Same scar. But this photograph created a new problem. The two photographs had been taken from different positions, at different distances. Yet the figure appeared to be standing in almost exactly the same place. That changed the question. The investigators were no longer asking, could someone resemble Elias? They were asking, why does the same person appear in two photographs? A photographer could accidentally capture the same stranger twice. That was still possible. But the Mercer family's account created another problem. Margaret's father had written a short note on the back of the photograph. Only 6 words. No one else was at the hotel. The note had been written decades before the photograph was rediscovered. That meant the family remembered the stranger. They had noticed him. Yet none of them remembered seeing him while they were there. Investigators eventually located Margaret's younger brother, Daniel. He was 70 years old when interviewed. He remembered the trip. He remembered the hotel. And he remembered his father's warning. But when asked about the man in the photograph, Daniel said something unexpected. He didn't remember seeing a stranger. He remembered seeing Elias. Not in the photograph. At the hotel. According to Daniel, he had seen the man standing near the entrance while the family was preparing to leave. His father told him not to speak to him. Daniel assumed the man was a relative. Years later, he learned Elias had been dead since 1957. At this point, the investigation had three possibilities. The man was an unknown stranger who looked remarkably similar to Elias. The family had misremembered the date. Or the photograph showed something that could not be explained by either possibility. Then researchers discovered a fourth piece of evidence. A second negative. It had never been printed. The image showed the Mercer family from behind. And the man was there again. But this time, he wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking directly at Margaret. The researchers compared the man's position across all three photographs. The distance between him and the hotel entrance remained almost identical. His posture barely changed. His clothing appeared identical. Even the position of his hands was the same. That seemed impossible. A person photographed several times over the course of an afternoon should move. Unless the photographs had been taken within seconds of one another. But the shadows proved otherwise. The photographs were separated by several minutes. The sun had moved. The family had moved. The camera had moved. The man hadn't. There is, however, one final detail. The original camera contained a manufacturing stamp indicating that it had been produced in 1967. The film stock found with the photographs was also consistent with the late 1960s. The negative was genuine. The photograph was almost certainly taken in 1968. And Elias Vale had been dead for 11 years. But investigators never found proof that the man in the photograph was actually Elias. No fingerprints. No second witness who could identify him independently. No surviving record placing him at Northmere. Nothing. The evidence establishes something strange. It does not establish the supernatural. Perhaps the man was a stranger. Perhaps the Mercer family saw what they expected to see. Perhaps memory transformed an unfamiliar face into someone they had lost. Or perhaps someone really did stand outside the Northmere Hotel in 1968. Someone who looked exactly like a man buried 11 years earlier. There is one reason the photograph remains disturbing. Not because the man appears in it, but because, according to the family, he was already standing there before they took the camera out. And if that is true, then the photograph didn't capture the moment he appeared. Captured the moment someone finally noticed him.